There are some uneventful things in life that we may never truly be prepared for, and there are others which we can prepare for as best as possible. The Administrator General's Department will help us process the widely unprepared for event, while the Met Service helps us to prepare for the known. This is Jamaica Magazine, and I'm Theodore Henry, your host for 30 minutes of an information-packed show. It's also Heritage Month, and we are still dropping some history on our cultural heritage. But first, a quick break before today's happenings. It's the 9th staging of the JIS Heritage Competition, and this year we're talking slavery and reparation. Entries are now open, so listen up. Primary and prep school students, this is what you should do. Imagine that you are one of the 7 national heroes. Make your case for Jamaica to be compensated for the effects of slavery. Answer this question in an essay of 400 to 500 words and submit using the application form on our website, jis.gov.jm. Entrants must be aged 9 to 12 years old. Secondary students, the poster competition is for you. Submit your digital or illustrated posters to depict the theme, Jamaica, a case for reparation. The photo competition is open to tertiary students in accredited Jamaican institutions. Send us a photo, also representing the theme, Jamaica, a case for reparation. All entries should be submitted using the application form on the JIS website. For more information, contact 876-922-3590, extension 2137 or 2132. You may also email heritageessay@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, and heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm. Deadline for entries is Monday, October 28. Go ahead, express yourself in the JIS Heritage Competition 2019.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 23. Over 140,000 persons living in Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas are to receive better garbage collection services. This after government procured 2 brand new compactor trucks at a cost of $50.6 million. The garbage trucks were handed over to the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, yesterday at Jamaica House. Local Government Minister Desmond McKenzie used the function to reiterate government's commitment to a clean and healthy natural environment.
There is no excuse that we can offer, but there are some realities that we have to live with. The rains have created some serious problems, infrastructure-wise, but the assurance has been given that by now and the end of the week, there will be a significant reduction in the pileup of garbage across sections of the country.
The trucks were purchased through a loan from the World Bank in collaboration with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JIS. Hospitals across Jamaica are to benefit from 200 reclining chairs. Minister of Health and Wellness Christopher Tufton says the chairs will be placed at strategic points in the hospitals, such as emergency units and wards with bed shortage issues.
Part of the challenge with replacing more beds is that if you put more beds in hospitals, you also have to build more buildings to accommodate the beds. And so we have to, in the interim, while we plan to build out our hospitals or expand our hospitals, find a way to accommodate more people. It means that even if people have to wait, they will wait in more comfort.
Minister Tufton was speaking during a tour of the Ministry of Health and Wellness's warehouse, where the chairs are being stored. The reclining chairs were funded by the ministry, and Dr. Tufton says in cases where there are no available beds, patients will be able to receive treatment while sitting in these chairs. Private sector entities are being urged to employ strategies that support the environment, reduce carbon footprint, and promote sustainable development. Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth, Daryl Vaz, made the call Tuesday at Red Stripe's launch of its Circular Economy project. It calls for more environmentally friendly waste management practices, which involves reusing resources for as long as possible. Minister Vaz welcomed the project, saying it would provide economic opportunities for persons at the community level.
I'm particularly happy that the company has led from the front and broadens its focus on waste from materials such as wood, paper, and metals, and not just plastics. This, I hope, will ultimately create a cultural shift in how we separate our waste at source and encourage each one of us to practice reuse and recycle where necessary and appropriate to ultimately reduce our waste to landfill levels and lower our carbon dioxide emissions.
The new voter identification cards to be issued by the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, will be tamper-proof. Assistant Director of Elections in charge of Information Systems, Thesia Allison, says the security features on the cards will be resistant to counterfeit alterations and other photo substitutions. The new IDs, which will be thermoplastic polycarbonate cards, will be standard wallet-sized and have a lifespan of at least 10 years. Mrs. Allison, who was speaking at a recent JIS think tank, also informed that the EOJ had procured a new card printer to facilitate laser engraving.
The pre-printed security cards will be produced by security printers overseas, because only there are certain persons overseas who produce these cards. What we'll do in Jamaica is a personalization. So your name, address, etc. Yeah, these are cards that are similar to the cards used for the Canadian PR, the US green cards. That's the standard we use for these new cards.
The renewal exercise will begin on November 4. Persons who were issued their voter ID cards in 2015 or earlier are advised to visit any EOJ constituency office or voter ID card renewal center to begin the process. And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness says government will develop appropriate strategies to ensure that all stakeholders' needs are met with the implementation of the Bernard Lodge Master Plan. The proposed integrated development of Bernard Lodge in St. Catherine will include residential, commercial, agricultural, and agro-processing facilities. Prime Minister Holness, who toured the area recently, says there are several illegal sand mines, squatter settlements, and illegal dump sites in the area. He says the administration is keen on addressing these activities with the implementation of the Bernard Lodge Master Plan. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Garbage collection, maintenance of public sanitary conveniences, upkeep of cemeteries, provision of water shops, road improvement, street lights, poor relief programs, community beautification. All these services are funded by you. Yes, they are, when you pay your property tax. Pay your annual property tax to make Jamaica the place of choice for all.
The reality of life is that we experience absence in that very same present. But after absence, processing a death report doesn't have to be a challenging process. Here's the AGD with more.
Yo, Kevin, what going? You want to play ball with them on them?
Yo, you know, say I think happened to me the other day, my youth. Have me away, I'm never gonna lie to you.
How am?
You know, some of them are stressed out and grieve. You know my brother John?
Yeah.
You know, so the man say him sick, and we carry him to the hospital. And the man just dead, so. Dead left him daughter, no will. Yeah, and him two daughter, them called Ashley at 9 and Gabriel at 13, so we really don't know what to do.
Boy, sorry for hear that, you know. You never have no will?
Yo, I just said that already, man. Yo, man no left no will. If he left a will, would I know what to do. I really don't know what to do.
So him never have house, car, bank account? You must at least NHT contribution.
Yo, to tell you the truth, my brother very secretive. So I really don't know. I just know the fact say he's a teacher, and I know them pay him through the bank, so he have a bank account. I know say him buy a house last year. The car where I have, I never know if I fee him. So I really don't know. That may say if in the left a will, would I really know where I have or what to do. But we really don't know what to do.
No, I did hear upon the radio still Administrator General's Department deal with them matter there, you know.
Administrator General's Department. What them do really? What them really do?
The government office, man. Them whenever people dead without will and them have kids under 18, them deal with the assets.
So you say Administrator General's Department, them deal with them thing there? Push for the Administrator General's Department there.
12 Ocean Boulevard.
Yeah, but I really like to go down there still and find out from them what them can do, because I tell us so we really don't know what to do. I tell you the truth.
Follow them play some ball, man. We follow go down there tomorrow.
Respect.
That's right. If someone dies and did not leave a will, leaving children under the age of 18 years old and have assets such as property, bank accounts and motor vehicle, you must report the death of the person to the Administrator General's Department.
Good morning, gentlemen. How may I help you?
Hello, good morning. I have a situation, I hope you can help me. My brother died last week and I don't know what to do.
Did he leave a will?
No, he didn't leave a will.
Okay, I'm going to ask that you complete this document for us.
To process the report of a death, you will need to complete a form of particulars witnessed by a Justice of the Peace or a Notary Public. You also have to submit an original death certificate, proof that you're related to the deceased, for example, birth certificate, marriage certificate, proof of assets such as bank passbook, land ownership documents, share certificates, motor vehicle documents, insurance policies, certificate of deposit. You will also need to provide a small sum towards administration expenses if no cash is left by the deceased. Before reporting a death, you can visit our offices for further information. In Kingston, 3rd floor at the Office Centre Building, 12 Ocean Boulevard, or call us 922-183023. You can also visit our Western office at the 2nd floor of the National Housing Trust Building at 42B Union Street, Montego Bay, St. James. Telephone 630-4261. Our website is at www.agd.gov.jm. That's the Administrator General's Department, securing your legacy.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
Here's something we can be prepared for: a hurricane. While its impact can be disastrous, our efforts in mitigating that impact goes a long way, thanks to the help of the Met Service. Watch this.
Jamaica's location in the Caribbean basin makes us vulnerable to the eventualities of the hurricane season. It is therefore critical that from June to November we always prepare for tropical cyclones. The location of system formation and their usual paths places Jamaica at risk for the entire 6 months of the hurricane season. Systems form in the Western Caribbean, that's Jamaica's location, or in the Gulf of Mexico at the start of the hurricane season. But as we move through July and August, we see development more in the Eastern Caribbean. Systems that develop here tend to move towards the west in the general direction of Jamaica. Then around September and October, we see systems developing more off the west coast of Africa or over the open waters of the tropical Atlantic Ocean. But the tendency again is that they move towards the west with a slight drift to the north, again placing Jamaica in a bullseye position. As we go into November, there is a shift to development in the Western Caribbean once again, sometimes in the southwestern region, but they move towards the north. Again, Jamaica is a target. So if we look at the trends over the last 18 years, from year 2000 to 2018, we see that several systems have affected the island, such as Hurricane Ivan in 2004, Dean in 2007, or even Sandy in 2012. Many people say that Ivan only passed close to Jamaica. It never really hit us. But it was a direct hit. We came within the ambit of the most tremendous wind speeds that are associated with a tropical cyclone. The eye wall moved over the southern coastline. Dean in 2007 was another hit for us. The center of the system was off the south coast, but again we came within the eye wall of Dean as it moved along the south coast. And in 2012 we had that visitor from the south. This was Sandy moving over the eastern part of the island, making its entry near Harborview and exiting around Port Antonio on the northeast coastline. It moved across the island as a Category 1 hurricane. We also had some systems that had unexpected but significant impact over the island. We had Wilma in 2005. This was one of the most powerful hurricanes ever formed. The system lingered in the early stage of development just off the southwest coast of Jamaica. We got 2 weeks of heavy rain, even though it did not move over the island. And then in 2008, you might remember Gustav. Gustav caused significant flooding and devastation as it moved across the country. And it was not even a hurricane, it was a tropical storm. Then there was Nicole back in 2010, which caused severe flooding even though it was not even named a tropical storm when the rains were pounding the island. We also had systems that didn't affect us despite our preparations. 2 of the most memorable ones were Tropical Storm Earl and Hurricane Matthew, both of them occurring in 2017. If we look at especially Matthew, all the models were projecting a direct hit for Jamaica, but that is not what happened. Instead, it moved a little toward the east and it devastated Haiti. Some persons may use this as an excuse for not taking hurricane warnings seriously, but remember that despite the technology and the advances that are made in predicting the path of these systems, tropical cyclones are still somewhat unpredictable. It is always better to be prepared for systems that might hit, but don't, rather than be unprepared for one that hits us. So the message I want to get out there is about being prepared all the time, because a tropical depression, a tropical storm, or a hurricane could be a threat anytime before or during the hurricane season.
Driven by an early concern for the oppressed, hanged for speaking on behalf of the poor, George William Gordon was declared a national hero in 1969. Here are a few more details on the life of this distinguished figure.
George William Gordon, now Right Excellent George William Gordon, National Hero, was born in 1815, the son of a Scottish father and an enslaved Jamaican mother. He got a call to make the world a better place, and for that he was never forgiven. You should know then that conditions in Jamaica then were just unbelievable. People were suffering. 311,000 persons in 1838 enslaved, received their freedom and were just thrown outside. And what George William Gordon did, he bought lands and he cut up the lands and allowed the poor, the dispossessed, to have access to the land. And his colleagues did not like that. He chastised the governor in meetings right at the space that the governor needed to do more for the people. And the governor didn't like it, called him a mischief maker. And this is the space where George William Gordon came to, as it were, give up himself because he heard they were looking for him. And from here, he was taken to St. Thomas, where he was tried and hanged on the 23rd of October 1865. And he reached the Friday and they hanged him the Monday morning. But before he was hanged, he asked for permission to write a letter to his dear wife, Lucy. He had married this lady, Shannon, Lucy Shannon. He married her and he asked that he could write a letter, and they allowed him to write the letter. That would have been Sunday night, early Monday morning. He wrote the letter to say that he was innocent. And if anything that he did that was bad, was to help poor people.
Reggae music has been a significant part of our heritage, traveling with the Jamaican people through every throb of a pulse. Here's more of our Jamaican reggae story.
The music industry has been quite well documented, and to my recollection, it started more of an effort to play music that other people couldn't play than as an industry. So from where it started, for me, it started with sound system owners who wanted to remain exclusive, decided that the best way to do that was to, produce their own stuff. And people saw how important it was. Artists were, coming up. I think it was the birth of an industry. Reggae is the soundtrack of our lives, In other words, it's not like we made an effort to, we're gonna like reggae. Reggae is of us, about us, with us, and it has remained true to us as a Jamaican expression. And when I say reggae, I don't make the distinction between fast reggae, slow reggae, ska. I just call Jamaican music reggae. It was very unstructured in the beginning, and persisted like that for a number of years until people like Chris Blackwell saw the financial possibilities involved in investing. So I guess it really came to front with the Miller Small, that big hit that he had, and people started to see money. So this could in fact be an industry, and how popular music like ska was, that it gave rise to songs and bands, and people. Jamaica was dancing and people were enjoying themselves, and it probably was a good time in the history of Jamaica. Not everybody can do the twist. It kind of unearthed just a creative spirit in Jamaican, and we broke all of the recording rules, but we came up with a product that kind of represented the kind of Jamaican spirit, and that indomitable spirit, and it gave a sort of voice or expression to our Africanness. Like everybody growing up in my age, we had two sets of things. I grew up in the golden age of both Jamaican music and the Motown era and the Philadelphia era. And radio played a lot of American music. We were naturally drawn to the best of American music. But you realize that when you got to a party and they started to play the local section of music, because it was talking about things that you were familiar with. You went, and then you were able to see these individuals at stage shows and parties. So it became even more personal.
Standing at the party, watch me now. Ice cream, watch ya. Me a chat microphone from Melico stuff.
Music is just being constantly made. I don't think we have taken time out to actually figure out how we're gonna monetize the creation of all this music. But it is there. It is being consumed in every nook and cranny of Jamaica, every bar, everything, and in households. And then we have this phenomenon of this weekly dance, this nightly dance, music thing on corners. And it has opened up a lot of economic opportunities for people in corners, bars, people selling on the road. And so it is almost self-sustaining by the nature of how it is done. So it is always going to be part of our lifestyle. From the 70s, 80s, 90s, Jamaica celebrated a number of great icons. We talk about the Ernest Smiths, the Pluto Shervintons, the Dennis Browns, the Gregory Isaacs, the Alton Ellis, and then we get into the megastar region, the Jimmy Cliffs and the Peter Tosh, and then the Bob Marleys.
I can't refuse it. Oh, what you be got to be. Well, I feel like dancing.
Growing up, Dennis Brown was everybody's favorite singer. So when I got an opportunity to work with him, it was like the crowning, day in my life, in my musical history.
My head is anointed, and my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow all the days of my life.
I was led into professional music through some people that are ready in music. And the first time I got into a recording studio and became a part of that creative process, I was hooked for life, I realized early I didn't have the singing talent like a lot of my friends and comparable, but I realized that my contribution could be through songwriting and later production, and later on into just mentoring young people. Because we have a studio at Grafton, and we have a really close association with the Jamaica School of Music, I get a front seat, front row look at a lot of the young talent coming up. And then we have a rehearsal room where we are now, and we have a studio, so I get to see and hear a lot of the young talent and older talent. And here at Grafton we provide a sort of meeting place. I'm really always excited about introducing, new artists to old artists.
So, since we're on the wave of remembering and celebrating our heritage and legacy, here are some more reasons to truly appreciate our beautiful island home. Number 1, we created our own soundtrack. Reggae and dancehall were created by Jamaicans. Reggae evolved out of ska, rocksteady, and traditional menta folk music in the 1960s, while dancehall came about in the 1980s. Number 2, we gave birth to a religious movement. Jamaica is the birthplace of Rastafarianism. This movement started in Jamaica in the 1930s and was influenced heavily by one of our national heroes, Marcus Garvey. Number 3, we are the land of wood and water. The indigenous people of the land dubbed it Jamaica, which means the land of wood and water. And number 4, we were the first British Caribbean colony to gain independence. Enslaved people in Jamaica were fully emancipated in 1838, and over a century later, the island gained independence from Britain on August 6, 1962. We've done a great deal as a nation, but the efforts should still continue. Just so that you too can help to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And that's all the time we have for you on today's show, but if you missed anything, you can watch it all again on our website or our YouTube channel. Don't forget to keep up with us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. Just before we go, a little reminder that our heritage is our legacy. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. You take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.